We're here at the High End in Munich, and we're standing next to Marco Cicogna. And he has just given a presentation here in the Nagra room, but he's going to tell you about his love for DSD.
Let's start saying something about multi-channel. I read once something written, I have to say, by a colleague, journalist. And he said, listening to a nice stereo is like watching to the music event from a nice window. However transparent this window may be, you are still outside the main event. With a nice multi-channel reproduction, then you are in the hall where the event is taking place. This is true for many labels, as we have noticed, to talk about a sort of immersive audio. So we're not talking about special effects here. I mean, the main orchestra, the main event is in front of you, but the sound coming out as if you were in a real hall is all around you. This is true also for a simple piano recording. You don't really need a big orchestra or an organ. So that, as far as multi-channel is concerned. Now, how are you going to listen to multi-channel? If you are a cinema enthusiast, multi-channel is the rule.
Yeah.
If you go to a cinema, you expect to listen to the movie or to the effects or to the soundtrack in multi-channel. At home, I have to say that two-channel is the rule. So actually, if you listen to Blu-ray video, multi-channel is the norm for audio and for music. Now, unless you are playing a SACD multi-channel player, which are rare, you may have DSD recordings in file in proper multi-channel.
Well, as a matter of fact, we have Jared Sachs here with us from Channel Classics. I would like to invite you to come over here, stand in my place, and talk about these recordings made in DSD multi-channel.
I'm not prepared for this. I don't know. What's the question?
Well, okay. We have briefly introduced, for example, the breath of a real orchestra using a sample from your recordings. It was Mahler Third Symphony.
Okay, I think I remember that recording, yes.
Okay. So at the beginning of Mahler Third Symphony, you have this huge 10-horn section.
Yes.
Starting with this noble fanfare, and then a sudden forte, very forte,
Right.
and then you have a very subtle and delicate part with the bass drum.
The bass drum.
That's also another reason why you really need big speakers. But this is another point. We're going to talk someone else about that.
But what you really need is a system that has wide dynamics.
Wide dynamics,
Yes.
lot of bass.
Yeah.
But in that case, with a proper multi-channel reproduction, you feel the venue all around you. In that moment, you are very close to the lowest possible resolution. That is the point when once you are in the orchestra hall, you have someone moving in the seat, you can hear that, because the music level, the sound pressure level is very low. But in multi-channel, you have a tangible sound feeling of the air around you, and gives also a better perspective of the real sound, the orchestra, or whatever may be.
I think indeed, I want to have the feeling I'm sitting on the 5th row, not the 20th. I want to feel the dynamics. It's on the 5th row. So that, the Mahler Third, especially the beginning, the horns, and then very loud, and then indeed this very, very soft bass drum there. It works very well in multi-channel. Absolutely. Yeah.
Certainly.
I just wanted to ask Marco one final question.
Yes.
What are some of your highlights from the whole catalog at Native DSD?
Wow, I should have known before. I would have checked. Now I'm going just by memory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the Vivaldi recordings. Okay, particularly Vivaldi Opus 4, La Stravaganza.
With Rachel Podger.
Exactly. Yes. And also, more recently, the Opus 8 with the 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
That, as far as Baroque music is concerned, I'm talking about what the Germans call Klangfarben here, the sound texture, that is really very interesting, particularly with these old instruments, which sometimes they tend to sound too thin, too harsh. We have a very nice equilibrium, you know. Okay, then of course you have the Mahler cycle for a big orchestra sound, unbeatable, and a very nice Tchaikovsky 4th Symphony of a few years ago. I hope
With
you remember.
Ivan Fischer and the Budapest Festival.
Budapest
Yeah,
Orchestra.
okay.
I would say that coming up to, by the way, as smaller, not orchestral music, we heard this before in 2-channel here with this setup, is a brass quintet with the Asturia piece, okay? It's a typical brass quintet with some discrete percussions. If you want to listen to something which is a fusion between jazz and classic piece, outstanding dynamics.
Well, that's great. Now people maybe have some more ideas of where to start looking at the catalog of NativeDSD.com. Reporting from Munich, the high-end show. This is Marco Cicogna. Thank you very much.